Dear fellow coders, welcome to One Little Coder. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how you can create a dashboard using an R library called Flex Dashboard. Yes, we're going to learn how to create a very quick and dirty Flex dashboard, and we are also going to see how you can host it on Kaggle Notebook or also on Hugging Face Spaces. Yes, Flex dashboard gives us a standard HTML file, a standalone HTML file, which means you can host it anywhere. You can host a static website, and we are going to see this entire process starting from data collection till deploying or hosting your dashboard. And if this is something that interests you, especially producing your analysis report, just join me in watching this video. So the first thing that we're going to do is we need the data set. So I'm going to use the Kaggle dataset that is called Shark Tank India dataset. So Shark Tank India is a very popular show these days. I don't watch it necessarily, but I hear a lot about it where there are sharks who would invest in a bunch of startups. I think there is a show in the US very similar to this. I think I've seen Mark Cuban on that show. So it's a very similar show in India where investors, like startup founders, would pitch to investors, and then investors invest in, sometimes invest, they don't invest, whatever it is. So this is basically the show is, and we have got a data set that has got a bunch of information about the show. So episode number, pitch number, the brand, the idea, who is the investor, and how much they have invested. So we're going to make a very simple dashboard. So one disclaimer is that this video is not about building a dashboard. I'm not going to teach you how best to build a dashboard, but the objective of this video is for me to introduce Flex dashboard to you, and then for me to also teach you how you can take the static file, the output of the HTML, the Flex dashboard file, and host it on Hugging Face Spaces or also as part of Kaggle Notebook. That's the primary objective of this video. So let's get started. First step, download this data set. I've already downloaded it. And put it inside my folder. You can see that there is a Shark Tank India all pitches.csv. And I've also created a new project inside the folder. If you create a project inside the folder, that is much better for you to access the files. So I'm going to go inside my RStudio. You can see I'm inside the project folder, and also you can see my current folder has got two files. One is the rproj file and the second one is the CSV file. So now if you want to know how to use Flex dashboard, the first thing that you need to do is you need to install the packages, and you need to do Flex dashboard. So if you do this thing, the Flex dashboard library, the package would get installed on your RStudio, on your machine. So after you do that, now go click the new file and click new markdown. Okay, after you click new markdown, go to the from template and then select Flex dashboard template. Let me quickly show again. Go new file, R markdown, from template, Flex dashboard, and create this. Now this is going to create a template that looks like this. So we are going to see some bits of this in detail. After you have this template in place, now give a name. So I'm going to give a name saying Shark Tank Analysis, Shark Tank India Analysis, maybe that's a probably better name. And then I'm going to save this. When I try to save this, it's going to ask me to give a name. I would prefer index because we want the HTML file to be in the same name for us to make it easier to host it on certain places. So I'm going to save this now. So at this point, I've got the title set, I've got the YAML file. So if you see Flex dashboard, so let me quickly show you the Flex dashboard website. Yeah, if you see the Flex dashboard website documentation, you would see that the top YAML that you see here, this YAML, this is the crucial part that differentiates a typical R markdown file from the Flex dashboard file. I assume that you know what is an R markdown, but if you do not know, R markdown is the format where you can write R script and also you can write markdown. So it is a one extension file. It's a single script, or more like a notebook format, but not necessarily a notebook format. It's a totally different format altogether, where you can write both R script and also a markdown. So which means you can have text, you can have charts, you can have code, you can execute the code, you can do all these things. So Flex dashboard is actually a chain, it's a different version of R markdown where the extension holds same, but the YAML file instructs our RStudio to knit. Knit is the process of rendering to knit the R Markdown into a particular format, in this case the Flex dashboard format. So let's quickly knit. So at this point you can see that you have got only 3 files inside my folder. We have got the R project file, we have got the CXV file, and we have got the R Markdown file. But once I click knit, you would see that there will be a new HTML file. So you can see that there is a new HTML file, and this is how the dashboard currently looks like. So it says Shark Tank analysis, India analysis. You've got first chart, you've got second chart, you've got third chart. So now we are going to start building the dashboard. So one of the things that I want to do with the dashboard is I want to add a component that looks like this. So there is a value box here. So if you see this thing, I usually like to keep KPIs at the top. So which means we need value box at the top. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to basically copy this and then add it here, right? I'm going to copy this and add it as the first component after my library, just to show you how it looks. After I do that, I'm going to save it and I'm going to hardcode the value. So instead of these functions, I'm going to hardcode the value saying, okay, article is 40 and comments is 20, like just for the sake of showing you how it's going to look like, and 40, maybe 55. Save it, come back here, sorry, save it and knit again. After you knit, you would see this in place. So you can see that you have got these here, the KPIs or the summary, and you have got the chart, you have got the other 2 charts. But you know what, I don't like this vertical or vertical orientation or columnar orientation. What I want is an orientation that is row wise. I want these 3 horizontally stacked. So now all I have to do is I have to go here and then say orientation is rows. I want to save it, come back here, and then I'm going to see, most likely it should, yeah. So you can see the KPIs at the top, horizontally oriented. You've got 1 chart and then you've got 2 charts. The reason you've got 1 chart here is you can actually see. So first you have got a row, and then you've got, then after this you have got a columnar structure, and then you have got another columnar structure where you have got 2 columns. So and the way you specify the size is when you define whether something should be a row or column, you also define the size, the width that you want to give. So right now at this point, I would say that we have got a pretty decent format, the Outlook. Maybe we can stick to this at this point and then start adding data from our data frame. Maybe if you want to change later on, we can change later on, but for now let's stick to this. So first thing, I want to replace these with actual values. That's the whole point of a dashboard, right? So now we have got placeholder values and we want to do it with actual values. The first thing that I'm going to do is I need to read the data frame. So I'm going to use the library tidyverse, okay, library tidyverse, and then Flex dashboard, okay, comments Flex dashboard for building dashboards, and tidyverse for data manipulation. And I'm going to use a library, I don't know if you're familiar with HighCharter, for making interactive visualizations. So if you do not have HighCharter, once again it is very simple, install .packages and then you have to do HighCharter. So that would install the required library for you. So after, these are the 3 libraries that we are going to use, nothing else. After we have these 3 libraries loaded, I'm going to just copy, command enter or control enter. I'm going to run this. At this point I've run this. So one thing that you need to keep in mind is when you knit this, it might actually show you errors. So just go there once, check if it is showing any kind of warning or anything on the dashboard. So right now I don't see any warning, but if you happen to see any warning or error message, then you can come to this snippet here, and then you can say warning is equal to false. Sorry, false. This is a problem when you move from Python to R. You tend to mess up with the kind of keywords that you use. Message equal to false. So you can add this so that there is no warning or message. Right now we didn't see anything, but if you happen to see that, then this is what you have to do. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to add a new snippet where we are going to add a new R chunk, that's called a chunk, where we are going to read the data frame. So I'm going to add a new chunk, and I'm going to say this is to read the data frame. Okay, so I'm going to say sharp equals, or you can use whatever sign you want, read underscore CSV, and I'm going to give shark name. So this is the CSV name, and I'm going to read this. Control enter, and you can see that we have successfully read. Once again, I'm going to just knit it to see if any of this error message or warning is displayed there in the dashboard, so that we can clean it up before we proceed further. No, one thing that you might have noticed is this is quite responsive. So you don't have to separately write your own CSS to make it responsive. This entire Flix dashboard itself is responsive. Okay, fine, well and good. So we have got the dashboard structure in place. We have successfully managed to read the data frame. Now what we need to do is we need to create a couple of variables. We need to create a couple of objects. For example, one of the things that you would see in this Shark Tank data frame is investment amount is there, debt is there, equity liquidity is there, and then you can see a couple of other things. So what I'm quite interested in is, I don't want to deal with a lot of information at this point in this dashboard. So I want to say what is the maximum amount invested, what is the minimum amount invested, and what is the average amount invested. So I'm going to deal with only this particular column. Okay, so I'm going to say maybe it should be a new chunk. That's much better. So I'm going to say summary. This is the chunk name, summary. You can see the chunk name coming here. So I'm going to say minimum investment and okay, let me just add this. So which is minimum of Shark dollar investment amount. Okay, so that's the minimum investment. So typically this data set has got zeros as values, right? Zeros as values. So what would you see when you say minimum of zero, like investment amount? You would ideally see zeros. So we don't want zeros. So I'm going to write a small tidyverse here, which means I'm going to experiment here. Okay, that's better way. I'm going to clear this and then say Shark and filter this where investment amount was greater than 0, and then give me a summary. Give me a summary of minimum of investment amount. And when you do, sorry, what did I just do? Okay, instead of summarize, I give summarize. It's going to give you the minimum investment amount. So minimum investment amount in Indian rupees is 1 crore here. So we have to say minimum investment amount, and you can see that is available as a table. So it's not available as a vector. So I'm going to say as dot vector and then make it available. Okay, it's not. Okay, so we know how to get minimum investment. For now we have got the minimum investment. So I'm going to take the non-tidy route. So to say that Shark dollar investment greater than 0. So first give me everywhere that is greater than 0 and then say Shark. Okay, so now what this would give me is, this would give me everything, this would give me every rows where the investment amount was greater than 0, right? So after I have this thing, now I'm going to say from this give me the investment amount, and from that give me the minimum. So when you see this code, it might be a little confusing, but if you are following along, so it should be clear. So we're taking everything where the amount was greater than 0, and from that we are taking the investment amount, and from that we are taking the minimum. So next is maximum. I don't think we need to do this for maximum, because of course maximum is going to be the maximum value, right? We don't have to be worried about max. So next is average investment amount, and I'm going to call mean of Shark investment amount. Okay, so we have got 3 metrics: minimum, maximum, average. Okay, so I'm going to run this, and then you're going to see those values here. So we've got average, minimum, maximum, average. Right now if you see, the minimum average is not rounded off, so quickly I'm going to round it off and then run this again. You can see 2280. Good. So now we are going to replace this value here. So instead of this hard-coded value, I'm going to call it, I'm going to remove this and then say minimum investment. So next I'm going to remove this and then say maximum investment, and next I'm going to say average investment, and I'm going to remove this again. I don't want a warning color based on whatever it is. So I've got 3, and I have to edit the title. So I'm going to say minimum investment. I think I can say min investment. Invest is also fine. I think min invest. So next should be max, right? Yep, max. And the final one should be average. And we are giving again average, considering we have got an average user in mind. So save it, net it to quickly see if everything looks fine. Then we can proceed further with making. Yeah, it looks fine. Min investment, max investment, average investment. So we have got details here. So we can add you know, this information saying like in crores, so that, you know, people who see it's an Indian unit in crores. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and convert it to US dollars at this point, but yeah, min crores. So the next thing that you should know is that these icons that you see, these are Font Awesome icons. So which means I can go to Font Awesome and then look for an icon, and then I can replace it here. So all I want to do is I want to see if there is an Indian rupee. Okay, so I'm going to look if there is an Indian rupee. Yes, there is a rupee sign. Let's see if we can use this icon, which is, if I say start using this icon, I'm going to get something that looks like this. Okay, I'm going to go back to my RStudio and then say this is a rupee icon, this should be a rupee icon, and this also should be a rupee icon. Save it, knit it again to see if it's going to work. Let's hope that it works, so that we don't have to spend a lot of time in creating this dashboard. Yes, of course. So we have got rupees. The color is same. Of course, we can play with the color later on, but for now I'm going to leave it. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to build a chart. And once again, I'm going to deal with only this column, and I'm going to say distribution of investment amount. So I want to see the distribution of investment amount. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say anytime there was shark. Okay, so simply I'm going to first show you the high chart function. If you have not seen high chart, H chart is a very simple API. You can use this to make a lot of things. So simply H chart of the column name investment amount would get you a histogram. So I'm going to go back here, knit it again. So that's one thing that you need to do every time, because you're actually generating an HTML file. Knit it again, and then see there is the histogram here, but we actually wanted it here, but that's fine. Like we have got it here, so we can move it around. And again, like you can have different names. So if you quickly go to HighChart website, so this is the HighChart website. You can quickly see, if you search for histogram, you can quickly see how you can you can quickly see how you can change the name. So the way you can change the name, in fact, like if you want a density plot, you need to use the code like this. You need to wrap it around with a density function. So I just copied it, I'm pasting it. Area type, the type is area, and we have got a color, and the name is investment amount. Save it, knit it again. So this would take a couple of more time, because you just embedded a bunch of JavaScript codes, right? So now when you see this thing, okay, it looks good, but I'm going to increase, like I'm going to put this here, not there. So I'm going to copy this entire thing here, and I'm going to replace this here, right? I'm going to replace this here, and I pasted the chart there. So we have got that chart in the first column, the main one. So now, but we still need 2 more charts. So let's quickly make 2 more charts. So I'm going to make it simple, I'm going to just go here, copy the bar chart. Where is the bar chart? We have a bar chart here. Bar. We don't have a bar chart. Okay, column. Yes, we have the bar chart. This is a problem, right? Some people call it column, some people call it bar chart. So we have a bar chart, and for us to get a bar chart, for example, let's say we want to get the investments, we want to get the top 5 investments. Okay, so now how do we get top 5 investments? So shark, and we have to just summarize what is a brand name? So we've got some brand name, right? We've got brand group by. Okay, so I have to do group by, and then I'm going to do brand, and I'm going to do summarize. I'm going to do sum of, okay, in total investment equals sum of, what is that, investment amount. I don't know if I have to even summarize. Maybe like if multiple sharks had invested, this would be a good idea. But yeah, so total investment, and then I'm going to say, let's see how it looks. Okay, it looks like this. Now I have to display in descending order. So arrange descending of total investment, and then you've got top something. So I'm going to take top 10 of this, which means I'm going to take head of 10. So simply I've taken top 10 here, and we are going to use this for our high chart. So I copied the code, came back here. This code looks very terrible, so I'm going to just make it a little bit beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to make it a little bit beautiful. Yeah, so now it looks like a good tidyverse code. So now I've got high chart. We don't need the data frame. The type of chart we want is a column chart. And what is the x-axis? The x-axis is brand, and y-axis should be total income. Do we want to group it by anything? No, I don't think I want to group it by anything. So I'm going to keep it simple. So save this and then knit it quickly, and then see what is the outcome. So once we see what is the outcome, we can proceed further. So expand this. You've got the top KPIs, you've got the distribution. It kind of looks terrible because I've got zoomed in. If I zoom out, you can see how it looks. Yeah, the next thing is you've got the top investment. So you can see the top 10, top 5 and top 10 investment. Even if you want to show 20 investment, I think it should go well. So investment part is done. So the next thing is, I think they've got something called an idea. So you can group things into idea. So I'm going to do the same thing but for idea. So I'm going to give a name here saying top brands, like top invested brands, and I'm going to copy this just like that and paste it, replace this, and then say top invested ideas. And I'm going to, instead of that, I'm going to group by ID. Oops, what is the column name? Column name is idea. Okay, so the column name is idea, and I'm going to give idea here. So we have a bar chart. We have 2 bars. You can see, you can hover on it and then see what is it. Top invested ideas, total investment, top invested brands. So you can see which ideas got most investment, and then you can also see this distribution, and you can see this amount. So everything looks fine. I'm not going to play with the color at this point. Maybe, you know what, I should play with this. Color is equal to, how do I give red color? So let me just try my luck. 0 0 and 1 1. Is it even a real color? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, looks like it's probably a real color. Yeah, it's okay. I've got the red color. That's good. So we have got blue, red, and we have got the distribution in place. So we got all these things in place. Now, you know, one final thing that you should probably know about Flex dashboard is there are a lot of themes that you can use with the Flex dashboard. So when you go to Flex dashboard and then search for Control F themes, you would see that there are a lot of themes that come by default. So for example, I think I can use Space Lab, for example, by default, and I can knit it. But if I want it separately, then I have to register it and then try to fetch it from there. So for now, let's use this to keep it simple. It looks so terrible, this theme. And come back here and then restart this. Yeah, this looks much better than the ones that we had before. So if you want to use the theme from this, then you have to specify the Bootstrap, and you have to say under theme, the version that we are interested in is 4. Under Boots Watch, we are interested in Sketchy. Let's try our luck this time before we move forward. Okay, looks like it's working, and we are going to get a sketchy theme. So you've got Shark Tank India analysis, minimum investment in crores, Indian rupees, everything looks fine. Okay, yeah, so we've got the top invested brands, everything is fine. So at this point, we have got a successful dashboard in place. So now I'm going to save this and I'm going to close this at this point. Okay, save. Do I want to save the workspace? No, I don't want to save the workspace. At this point, I can go back to my folder and then I can see I've got the index.html file. Talk about deploying it on Hugging Face Spaces. So I'm going to go to Google and then search for Hugging Face Spaces. And after I reach there, I'm going to click Spaces and then I'm going to say create new space. And here I'm going to say Shark Tank IND analysis. So I'm going to select a license, MIT license, and then select static and create a public space. And after I reach here, this is your static public space. Of course, thank you so much. I'm going to come here, click add a file, upload a file, and then I'm going to get the file that I have. So I'm going to get this file, drag and drop it here. The HTML file, not the RMD file, the HTML file. After I come here, I can give a commit message saying the first version, and then I can say commit. And now at this point, the HTML file is getting uploaded. Technically speaking, after this HTML file gets uploaded, so you should go click this link and the dashboard should be ideally available here. And thanks to Hugging Face Spaces, the dashboard is available here, so you can see everything here. So now if you want to make improvements to this dashboard, you can do a lot of things. You can add filters, you can use different theme, you can make these charts talk to each other. That's called crosstalk. So you can do a lot of things. But I think I got you into Flex dashboard. I think you got the point, how easy and flexible it is to make a dashboard, a static dashboard. Just remember that this is completely an HTML file, which means you don't have to deal with server. You don't need a server to deploy it. All you need is a site that can host an HTML file. And just like Hugging Face Spaces has got the static file option where we just deployed our HTML file and then our dashboard is live. So if you have any friends who are interested in Shark Tank India, just share this dashboard with them. That's it. Thank you so much for listening to me. All the necessary links, code will be in the YouTube description. Please check it out, and also let me know your feedback and thoughts in comment section. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Happy coding.